What's going on, everybody? This is Matt Rinke, the founder of Illumination Wealth. I am very excited to be bringing you a new business-focused series, introducing you to other business owners, entrepreneurs that are very impactful and leaders in the community. And today I have my own business coach joining us. His name's Kieth. He's an entrepreneur himself. He's the founder of Buildify Systems. He consults, has a software company to entrepreneurs all over the country. And I wanted to bring him on and get his insight into what he's seeing, how he's coaching his clients through this environment right now. So welcome, Aaron. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's been a privilege for me to be able to work with you over the past handful of years. I know you've been instrumental in my business, and you work with companies all over the country in various industries. So with what's going on with this coronavirus, can you just give me a little bit of an insight into what are you seeing within your client base at this time? What are they doing? What's happening?
Yeah, and so to give context, I coach about 55, 60 companies a week from across the country. And so I'm seeing a wide kind of swipe of businesses. For the most part, I'd say most people are doing all right. Yes, there's certain industries like obviously restaurants that are really getting hit hard. But for the most part, everyone's taken a little bit of a hit. But I think for the most part, most people have pivoted pretty well. I think people are, especially entrepreneurs, right? Small entrepreneurs, small business owners, we're pretty scrappy as a group of people, right? And I think we understand that when stuff hits, there was a little bit of shock for everybody where everyone's like kind of paused in place for a moment. But I think everyone has kind of got to work, pulled out their entrepreneur spirit and has been pivoting pretty well, finding new ways of doing things, seeing what's going to work, making the hard decisions with staff and hours, looking at their financial reserves. Yeah, it's been pretty good for most people. They've survived.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear. Similar things that I'm seeing in our client base as well. And so when you talk about businesses like pivoting, a lot of companies have a business plan. Like when they think about pivoting and they got to do things quickly, how well planned out or thought out do these business changes need to be? And how do they get these things adapted and implemented quickly?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, time is not on our side for most of us. One of my companies is a natural medicine clinic. We didn't have a lot of time to run scenarios and to run things. We just had to ready, fire, aim. So we're literally adjusting midweek. We're making adjustments every Monday, every Wednesday, and Thursday. How are we doing financially? What's changing? What's working? What's not working? What's the marketing message? What marketing message is failing? What marketing message is winning? So I think for a lot of these companies right now, they need to have some kind of a plan around their finances. They need to have a plan around their staffing model. And they definitely need to have a plan around their marketing strategies, because those are the three components right now that are mission critical for all of us.
Absolutely. And now that people aren't going out and about as often as they were, what marketing strategies are you seeing that might be working, or different tactics that people should be thinking about, since most people aren't driving around or they're stuck at home more or working remotely? What should business owners be doing in the marketing department?
I mean, unfortunately, if you're looking at service part of it, so I'll look at it from the service part, we'll look at it from the marketing part. So on the service part, right, there's delivery, there's pickup, or there's doing something virtually, right? I mean, that's just kind of what we all have. It's a very limited bundle. So if there's any ways for us as business owners to start to pivot and find ways of providing value through video, through audio, pickup, delivery, anything like that is kind of what we all have to work with right now. So getting really creative to see what's possible. On the marketing side, I think there's some interesting things that can be done right now. Kind of like in 2008, this is not 2008, but there are some similarities. And in 2008, there was a bit of a formula that arose that seemed to work for a lot of people. One of the ingredients in that formula was dealing with making a difference. Right now is a great opportunity not to sell per se, but to come at this from more of a leadership perspective, a leader in front of your community, a leader in front of your customer base and your peers. So putting out a lot more content where you're providing leadership, knowledge, and true honest to God value. That is helping a lot of my clients, just with their own psyche and their mindset, is they're in action and they're making a difference. But two, they're gathering their community together. So a lot of people, their communities are actually expanding because they're putting out so much value, so much information that people are gathering around that business.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I can certainly understand. I think people need help. They need resources and they need something that cuts through the noise. And so being able to come as a leader at this and offering value is huge. Now, one thing you mentioned a little bit was around mindset and getting the entrepreneur, in a good frame of mind. We're all working differently now. Our teams aren't necessarily together. We're working remotely. We're staying at home. We've got distractions and kids, a lot of stuff going on. How should entrepreneurs and leaders create a routine so that they can be as effective at home and in their business?
Oh my gosh, that has been coming up so much just in the last week, right? Because the first couple of weeks was a little bit of a free for all. And now everyone's kind of settling into all right, well, we're working this way now. How are we working? And a lot of entrepreneurs are kind of dealing with their staff and themselves. And the workouts have gone out the window. They're just kind of working all hours of the day around the kids and the what have you. You got to dial back and pull back in your schedule. I get your schedules can be different, but you still have to have a routine. Routines provide efficiency and effectiveness with businesses and with staff. So I'd say if you have a staff, you have a company that has staff members, I don't care if it's 2 staff members or 500 staff members, you need to be doing more meetings with the staff. I'm recommending morning huddles. Just a quick 15 minutes, 10 minutes with all your staff, get everyone aligned, makes them feel, you got to keep that culture in place. Culture is still important, even though we're working remotely. Get that morning huddle in place, 10, 15 minutes. That way everyone feels heard, they feel acknowledged, they still remember they're part of a big picture. And everyone kind of has their marching orders. Everyone stays kind of in line with the intention of what we're up to this week, and then they can go about it. I'm seeing that happen a lot. And then working with yourself and your staff to dial in your work schedule. When are you starting your day? When are you ending your day? It shouldn't matter. You got to go into your office. I don't care if you're working from your car, wherever you got to snuggle away from so you got some quietness to work. You got to build that schedule again. You got to work out. You got to have your morning routine where you get in. If it helps you, put on some work clothes, whatever gets you in the frame of mind right now where you're focused and you're doing your tasks. So revamping that calendar is a critical one right now.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think we might have more time on our hands, but then it's we don't have as much time because we're putting out fires or pivoting or adapting to new things, that we still need to make sure that we have time for ourselves. And how do we keep our team engaged, and how do we maintain our culture throughout all this? Is a big part of that is routines and systems and adding new things to our calendar that we used to not have to think about as much when we were operating all maybe within the same confines or the same environment. So that's super helpful. So I guess last question, with all that's going on, any resources or anything that you think business owners, entrepreneurs need to be looking at right now that might help them in their business, or that they should be, any books, any tools that might make life easier and more, and better for the business?
Yeah, there's so much I want to say about that. I think if I was to choose one kind of silver bullet, it's going to be finances. With all of my clients that I coach, one of the single kind of center points for people is if their finances were really in check, they're doing great. If someone's finances were waning and kind of a mess, they're feeling it pretty hard right now. So finances is this thing that obviously this is your industry more than mine, that most people A, lack knowledge around.
Absolutely.
B, they lack structure around. So I would say investing in some books that can teach you structure. I think Profit First is a very good read. I think Simple Numbers by Greg Crabtree is a phenomenal read as well. I think those 2 books should be read in unison. Honestly, I love Robert Kiyosaki, oldie but goodie. He's putting out some killer videos right now, so follow him, check him out. But I think really gathering a lot of knowledge around having a business budget, having a personal budget, know what your reserves are supposed to be. So when stuff happens like this, you're not freaked. Because people with good reserves aren't freaking out right now.
Yep. Yeah, that's huge. I think that's the things that we've seen within our clients are the ones that are, feeling good and positive are the ones that had the reserves. They were intentional about building them, having them in place so that they could adapt. Yes, people need to make changes now perhaps to their finances and adjust staffing hours and things like that. But if they have reserves, they're going to be able to perhaps come out of this on the other side and capitalize on it. And that's by having the right, financial systems and structures in place. And one thing stood out to me, there's been a lot of people who have been applying for these paycheck protection program loans and things like that the government has now announced. But so many business owners I've heard from had difficulty even getting into their own QuickBooks. They outsourced everything, and they're not connected to their numbers. And so
Yeah.
getting access, understanding their own systems and structures financially is huge.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's great.
Awesome. Well, no, I appreciate you taking the time and kind of sharing us what's going on inside of your world as an entrepreneur yourself, business owner, and a leader and consultant to businesses out there. So people can find you where if they need any of your support and help.
I mean, really, the two resources we have for people right now is mainly the podcast, the Buildify method. If you can go in your podcast app and search the Buildify method or my name, Aaron Kieth, we have a tremendous amount of podcast episodes kind of geared toward this right now. Other than that, you can just go to our website, buildifysystems.com, and if we can help in any way, we're here for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Aaron, for taking the time, and much appreciated.
Always a pleasure, buddy.
All right. Take care.